here with Harmon Skurnik, and we're doing a Tariff Talk. It's kind of an important moment, and I wanted to get some insight from Harmon, who's been kind of at the center of a lot of the effort that the entire industry has been doing to work on this. And particularly, you were going to talk a little bit about the confusion that's been going on with what's happened recently.
Well, yeah, the confusion is based on the fact that last week Trump and Macron had a handshake, and they said, well, we're going to take a pause on the French tariffs that were being threatened. And so about a dozen or more journalists came out with articles saying, oh, they shook hands, the tariff is over, and everybody misinterpreted the situation that the threat of tariffs in the wine industry is now over, and we can go back to doing what we've been doing.
I had people in San Francisco coming up to me and saying, look at the news, it's done. So
nothing could be further from the truth. And that's, I think, an important thing to understand, because there are two threats of tariffs, and the threat on French sparkling wine, which is what they shook hands about last week, is a very minor threat. The big threat is the expansion of the tariffs that are already in place that went into effect last October, based on the dispute between Airbus and Boeing. It's actually a 15-year dispute that just got announced. The verdict just got announced, and now, because the WTO, the World Trade Organization, said that Boeing was entitled America was entitled to $7.5 billion in remedy, they are very seriously threatening 100% tariffs on all European wines and spirits, not just Champagne and not just France, all European wines and spirits. So it is a very big threat hanging over our industry, and we are not used to this kind of thing, and we don't have professional lobbyists down in Washington, D.C. to handle this political kind of ballet that we have to handle, and we're getting a crash course in it. And a number of us in the industry are getting together, and we're trying our best to meet with Congress people and senators, and in the middle of an impeachment trial, and trying to get them to convince them that this is a very bad thing for American jobs.
I think one of the things that's amazing is the kind of coalition of retailers, restaurateurs, importers, small, big, that have gotten together to try to, as you say, do something that isn't our business, that isn't what we do every day. And I think it's been it's obviously not perfect, because this isn't our profession, but I think it's been at least a heartening part of it, that there has been this group of people coming together to work on this.
When the chips are down and everybody's affected equally, even your competitors, you come together and you try to fight something that's in all of our best interests to defeat,
including American wineries.
Well, that's right, because one might think that having tariffs in place on European wines might be good for American wines. If European wines are double the price, then maybe you'll buy American wine. Well, our American winemakers know better than that, and a number of them have banded together and supported our efforts, because if distributors and retailers sell a lot less European wine, we are not going to be financially in the same position that we normally are. That's not good news for our American partners either.
Or restaurants, there's a lot of people who are good people who are gonna have to go out of business likely, because everything pieces together.
What are Italian restaurants going to do if Chianti's and Brunello's are all double the price? Or let's just say distributors and importers don't bring them in because they're so expensive. They're going to sell all Sauvignon Blancs and Pinot Noirs from California. You're an Italian restaurant, you sell Italian wine.
It's American wine. You sell
American wine, sure, but it's like saying, make Italian food without Italian ingredients. It's just a very strange situation that we're in, and we are working very hard to convince the powers that be that the wine and liquor industry is regulated. There's a 3-tier system. So what that means is that these foreign products that come in, 85 cents on a dollar, go to American companies. These companies, whether they be distributors, importers, retailers, restaurateurs, employ thousands and thousands of people, and it's billions of dollars in the American economy. And these wines are irreplaceable. We talk about terroir every day when we're selling wine, but the truth of the matter is, Burgundy is only grown in Burgundy. Champagne is only grown in Champagne. Yes, Pinot Noir is made in California, and we love them, but your Burgundy lover is not going to say, okay, no problem. Burgundy costs, twice as much now. I'll just drink California Pinot. Our American winemakers understand that the industry is an amalgam of wines from all over the world.
What can people do at this point, and what are kind of the next steps ahead of us?
Well, we think that there's a decision coming down in the next month, probably in the middle of February. And between now and then, we should be writing to our congressmen and senators and telling them that this is really bad for American businesses and American small businesses, and that they should be against the wine tariffs. At the same time, I think that our European winemakers that we work with ought to be doing the same thing on their side, so that these parties will get together and come to some compromise.
They'll put some pressure on their leaders to try to at least get to the table and get this resolved.
Exactly.